Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of what are we on? We're doing Behind the Picture today. Welcome. Welcome. It is Sunday. Got a very, very, very interesting situation today. My stream control, my buttons that I use, other than my screen is very dusty, it is not connecting. I've been trying to connect my stream control for the last hour, which has really kind of thrown me a little bit today, which means there's a lot of stuff I can't do. I can't change cameras. There's like literally everything is set through this stream control. So I was almost going to cancel. Because that's how much this button is important. These buttons, like I have two iPads. I tried to connect with my second iPad. That one didn't connect. So we are doing a stream without stream control. Hopefully I'm live. Hopefully you guys can see me. Do say hello, because again, I am almost blind here. Do say hello and let me know that you can see me. Hopefully you guys are all good, having a good day. Welcome. Beautiful. Thank you, Dan. It's one of those things, like technically the amount of things that I have going here. Welcome, Tone, gifting a membership. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Tone. The amount of things that I have going on here in order to run this live stream, you have no idea how, it's a lot. There's a lot of things going on, and when one thing that's this important doesn't connect, and it's like, I don't even want to get into it. It does definitely like mentally throw me. So, and today I had planned to have Gabe in as our marketing expert, but Gabe is sick, which sucks so bad. Gabe, being sick. So he's not able to, and he has plans next weekend. So we had to push Gabe back for 2 weeks, which kind of sucks. Let's go, Tone, with the gifted. Another one. Appreciate you gifting another membership, my guy. Thank you. So today we are going to talk about photographers having to believe in themselves. And I mean, with photography, it goes beyond just us having to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in possibilities that don't even exist yet, which is, that's the part that we have to believe in possibilities that don't yet exist. Let me spell properly here. And also, everything is so manual today. We have to believe in possibilities that don't yet exist. That's a hard thing to do, because when you think about it, we have to stand on something. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe that we can actually do this. We have to believe that we can be a photographer. I went from a nerdy 14-year-old kid the first time I touched a camera to somebody who works on high-end productions. I shoot celebrities. And today I want to get into what it really takes to sustain a successful career in photography. And believe me, all of our journeys are as unique as the niches that we choose are as unique as our photographs. And there's one thing that separates enduring successes from here today, gone tomorrow. And it's not just about raw talent or skill. It's about how we adapt, how we evolve, and how we grow in an industry that's super, super dynamic. When I first picked up the camera, it was film. It was dark rooms, and it was manual focus. The first from 14, 15, 16, 17, I was shooting manual focus. And it was then that I got the EOS 650, which is the world's first autofocus camera. I started shooting with Canon back then. The creative industry has gone through massive shifts. Digital photography and digital video revolution. Let's go, Tone. Welcome to the crew. Social media, user-generated content, so much more. And we've been having to navigate these changes. And it wasn't just about upgrading gear. For me, I had to go from Hasselblad film to digital. But I also had to upgrade my mindset. I had to learn, unlearn, and relearn again. When digital photography started, I was 15 years deep using film as a professional photographer. All of my systems for making money were intertwined with film, making contact sheets, selling prints. I had no idea what I was going to do when other pro photographers started to switch over to digital. That was in 2004. I made the leap in 2004 when it was the right time for me to move from film to digital. And I had to do it before it was too late. I didn't want to get left in the dust. I changed over to digital the second that I realized the future of photography was digital photography. And now, obviously, there's a renaissance with film photography right now. But back in the early 2000s, if you weren't shooting digital, your career was about to be over. So in 2024, how we get through is we have to explore. If you're brand new to photography and you found me, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Know that if you're brand new, it might be too early to choose your niche. What I would suggest if you're brand new is investigate the market. See what's happening with other photographers in your area. What are they shooting? What are they making a living shooting? And what's missing? What is nobody shooting? I would spend way more time investigating the market if I was starting again to see what's happening, what's out there, and who's getting hired. What kind of money are they making? The next thing that we have to always do is update our skills. Just like I had to switch from film to digital, we also have to learn post-production. We have to learn all the steps that happen from shooting raw to processing to retouching, and not just the steps that you want to do, but the industry standard steps. Like, what are working photographers doing with their post-production? What are working photographers doing there? It doesn't matter what you think is cool. What are the working people doing? So you have to stay informed about not just photography techniques, but technologies and techniques. We got to do workshops. I do workshops now. I do workshops on everything from how to lavalier mic properly your subjects when you're shooting videos to business workshops. It's important. I attend workshops, and workshops from a creator is actually more effective than, or workshops from a photographer are more effective than at points even going to school, because photographers can make their courses and their workshops way more up to date than a photography school can. So that's what I would do to keep yourself fresh. And know that if you're more comfortable with the shooting part of it and less comfortable with the digital-ish post-production, Photoshop, color balancing, color matching, retouching side of it, lean in there. Start incorporating parts of your week to learning more about the post-production side, because the more that you learn, the better you're going to be. And know that adaptability is our greatest asset. Adaptability. If I couldn't adapt, I would not be here right now talking to you. I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. I wouldn't be talking on camera. I wouldn't be doing any of these things. We have to pay close attention to what works, not just with our own photography, but with people who are around us that are working and are successful, and past photography legends that made a name for themselves without Photoshop or the internet. It's not wise to pursue a failing strategy. We have to be flexible in our approach, which opens doors for us that we didn't even know that existed. If I wasn't flexible, I wouldn't have started shooting digital after 20 years of shooting film. I would have stayed in it. If I wasn't flexible, I wouldn't have cared that my camera has a video setting and I can shoot video nowadays as easy as I can shoot stills. I would have just continued to do what I always did instead of adding video and editing video to my mindset. It wasn't enough to just shoot videos or make clips. I had to learn how to put them together and tell stories. Adapting my mind to the possibility of getting good at making videos was just like adapting my mind to getting good at shooting digital or processing images in Lightroom or retouching in Photoshop or trying to get good at any genre of photography that forces me outside of my comfort zone. I started doing street photography because street photography forces me outside of my comfort zone and helps me with my social anxiety. And again, I may not appear like I have social anxiety, but watch me an hour before my stream is supposed to start and my stream control not working, and you'll see that anxiety. Nothing makes me more anxious than being alone outside in public with my camera. No assistants, no crew. Like, I have anxiety at times. I'm always with a crew when I'm working. I'm always at least with one person, and it's not like they do the work, but it just helps me with, I like talking to people that I know. I'm always with a subject even. Like, I'll go out just me and my subject, and that's the person. I'm going out there with them, and I don't have anxiety once the connection has been made and I'm already connecting with someone. So shooting solo with no subject, without an assistant to talk to and bounce ideas off of, is challenging sometimes for me. And I'm amazing at talking myself out of it. But it helps so much to just show up, even when there's nothing to shoot. So some of the things that I do is I get out of my comfort zone by exploring types of photography that I'm not the most comfortable in. And even if that work I don't necessarily show to get more work, what I do is I use it as a way to force myself out of my comfort zone and help me with my social anxiety. Freddie just gifted 10 memberships. 10. Freddie, thank you. I appreciate you. That was incredibly generous. Insane. Absolutely insane. Gifting 10 memberships. New member. Man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we also have to learn from our failures. Man, honestly, I've seen too many photographers give up because they couldn't pivot from a failing strategy. If something's not working, we got to shift it. There's powerful lesson in every failure, but sometimes you have to fail in order to find a better way to doing something. In photography, much like life, when you're rigid about something, it leads to stagnation. The rigidity that some photographers have after shooting for a while and finding the things that work for them. The problem is when you find things that work for you, it might not be working for your photography business, or it might not be industry standard. So just because it's working for you, it doesn't mean that it's actually working to move the needle forward. And it's important to recognize that. If you're not regularly self-assessing and trying to improve your photography business every week, eventually people will stop calling you. I experienced that. You have to embrace the big and the small lessons that come with every single setback, and you have to reflect on those setbacks. After a perceived failure, you got to take time to analyze what you did wrong and how you can improve. I had a photographer recently who wasn't a people photographer because somebody asked them to take portraits They said, yeah, sure, I'll shoot portraits of you, but they weren't a people photographer and had no real experience shooting people at all, and was quite new at photography in general. And they took $500 from those people. And when I looked at the photographs, I was like, this is not a $500 photo shoot. And I had to help that person come up with a solution in order to reshoot that work for the client, for their client, because they didn't have the money because they had spent it already. They couldn't really give the money back. So they had to shoot it again. But it only takes one time. That only has to happen once for you to learn that lesson. It only has to happen once for you to realize, I'm not going to do that again. Because the feeling of having to reshoot something, or worse still, the feeling of having to give someone their money back, is the worst feeling in photography business. So you have to realize, like, prevention is how you make that stuff never happen. And you can go in over your head a little bit, but don't drown yourself in a situation where you know you don't have the experience to shoot somebody's $1 million car. You don't have the experience to shoot somebody's $1 million home. You've never done it before, like practice before you bring yourself to market. And another thing, again, I've touched on is keep up on photography trends, like what's happening. Like the trend in retouching right now, the trend in retouching is no retouching. It almost looks as though there's nothing has been done. Nothing. That's the trend. So if what you're doing with retouching is the blur tool and like blurring, it's like that hasn't been a trend in retouching for like 15 years. So if that's what you're doing, your work is so off trend. You have to pay attention. Go to Behance to make sure that the trends that you're doing aren't obsolete. Super important. We have to think also much about perception versus reality, because our perception of the world isn't always accurate. We view life through the lens of our own experiences, our own bias, and our own assumptions. Recognizing that our perception versus reality isn't always equal can help you see situations more objectively and help you adapt strategies more effectively. In my career, understanding that my perception was not reality was super important. It was pivotal in making sound decisions, both artistically and in my business. I took a risk doing this YouTube channel. I took a risk because I spent 2 years doing it basically for free. But I believed in myself. I had to take a stand and believe in something that wasn't even built yet. I had to believe that I was going to be streaming to hundreds of people, and like thousands of people were going to be watching my videos, and I was going to be bringing value to all of these people. I had to believe that that was going to be the result before I even started. If I didn't believe that that was going to be the result, how would I have been able to start? How would I have been able to start? So, our perception versus reality. It's incredibly hard to progress quickly on your own. As a photographer, it's incredibly hard to progress quickly on your own. You need a community. When I started, every huge leap in understanding came from when I was spending time talking creatively with other people. Every huge leap in understanding came from when I was hanging out with other creative people. When I assisted, happened every time. Anytime I watched another photographer make photographs, I learned something every single time. I realized that getting next to people that were doing what I wanted to be doing as my career could shift my perception of what's possible. I have to tell you, the first time I assisted a photographer, it was the most preposterous experience ever. And how I met this photographer was, I was in first year photography school, and my professor came in as the students were loading in. When everyone sat down, he said, I have a special guest speaker for you today. He's a fourth year photography student. His name is Mir Lada. And I looked to the people next to me and I'm like, I'm paying $10,000 a year to be here to listen to another student lecture to me? He's the same as me. So Mir Lada came in and Mir's like, hey guys, I'm going to show you some photos. And he grabbed the remote and he went click, click, and he showed the first slide. And it was the whole crowd, like 75 of us, gasped because it was a magazine cover. And then click, click, it was another cover, another cover, another cover, fashion, celebrity, celebrity, fashion, fashion, composite, celebrity. And it was just like, after his 2-hour talk, the entire class just left the stadium and just rushed him. And I sat in my seat with a screw face on, like, holy shit, this guy's a kid. He's like a couple of years older than me, and look at what this guy's done. I have goosebumps, honestly, just thinking about it. So what I did is I walked down through the crowd and I said, move, 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 move. And I went right next to Mir. I got right beside him to where his shoulder was here. And I went like this on his shoulder. He's like, hey man, what are you doing? And I'm like, Mir, I don't know what you have, but whatever you have, I need that to rub off on me. So I'm rubbing you off on me. And he laughed. He's like, dude, you're crazy. What's your name? I'm like, I'm Cardi. I'm a fashion photographer. And he's like, Cardi, come with me. And there was 75 people who were there before me, who got there before me to talk to him first. But I just pushed them out of the way. And I was like, whatever you have, I need that to rub off on me right now. And he's like, hey, come with me. And we left together with 75 of my classmates, just like, Cardi, what the F? So outside, he's like, so you want to be a photographer, eh? I'm like, I am a photographer. And he's like, okay, guys, slow down. Do you want to assist me? And I said, absolutely. He's like, all right, tomorrow at 9, I want you to be at my studio. And I'm like, tomorrow? I'm like, I have class. He's like, you got class? Class. He's like, oh, I thought you wanted to learn how to be a photographer. Here you are worrying about class. Do you want to assist me or no? I'm like, yes, dude, yes, yes. And he said, okay, listen, I want you to be at my studio, not at 8:58 or, oh my God, 8:45 or 9:05 or 9:01. You have to knock on my door at exactly 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Can you handle that? Absolutely. Where's the studio? Gave me a piece of paper. Here it is. I'll see you tomorrow. So the next day, oh my God, I wake up at 6. I'm like, full anxiety attack. I get to the guy's studio at 8, a full hour early, but I don't knock. I just hang in the area. I go for a coffee. I can't eat. I'm like full anxiety. I have a coffee, blah, blah, blah. I'm like walking around, and it's winter. So I'm like freezing. So now I'm in his building. I'm in the lobby waiting. Finally, it's like 8:50. I go upstairs. Now I'm on his floor. I'm waiting. I'm hiding. I don't want to be close to the door. Oh my God. Finally, at 9 o'clock. It is literally 8:59. I wait for my clock to turn and I go on the door and the door flies open. And he is wearing, I assisted him twice. So for like a few months, but he did this twice. He's wearing a full smoking jacket, like a house coat, velour, red. He has a pipe lit, and he has a Shriner's cap on with like a propeller. And he's like, oh yes, now the assistant is here. Now my photo shoot can begin. And he's speaking in an accent that's not his voice the whole time. I'm like, okay. So I walk in the studio. There's like 10 clients there. There's a model on set. There's food. There's music playing. And I'm like, and this is the first time I've ever been in a studio before. So I'm like, he's like, stop it. Come over here. Stand right here. I'm like, okay. And he's shooting Hasselblad and he's shooting Polaroids. So he shoots the model and he pulls the Polaroid and he throws it over his shoulder. And he's like, assistant, catch. And I'm like running and trying to catch these Polaroids and catch. And the clients start laughing hysterically. Like the clients are laughing at me as I'm running around the studio, catching these Polaroids. Timer, 60 seconds. I'm like, okay, 60 seconds, timer, blah, blah, blah. Okay, peel, blah, okay, peel, pull, blah, blah. Like clients are just laughing, watching me like run around. Okay, lunch, blah, blah, blah. They eat and blah, blah, blah. And then after, now we do the shoot and I'm watching him and he's like giving me his film and I'm like closing them, blah, 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 trying to keep everything organized. At the end of the shoot, the clients are like, Mir, you're the best. Another great shoot, man. Thanks so much. You're so awesome. The model hugs him. Mir, you're so amazing. I love working with you, blah, blah, blah. The makeup artist, Mir, you're the best, blah, blah, blah. Everybody leaves. He takes his house coat, throws it. Pulls track pants on, puts the sweatshirt on, takes this, throws it. He's like, so what do you think? And I said, you're a lunatic. You're a lunatic. You can do that? And he's like, it's my studio. I can do whatever I want. I was in shock. I said, you had me running around the entire day. He's like, did you see how much? He's like, well, by the way, sorry about that, but it was funny, right? It was funny, right? Yes, dude, it was funny. He's like, were you see the clients laughing? I'm like, this guy literally wet his pants. Like, I saw this woman, she fell off the couch. Like, yes, it looked like they were having a good time. He's like, do you think they'll remember me? I said, Mir, I will remember this for the rest of my life. And he's like this. He's like, Cardi, let me tell you this. He's like, these guys, they work in cubicles all day. They work in a cubicle, in an office. They're in the same office every day. When they get to come to my studio, and by the way, it's kind of cool in here, right? And I'm like, dude, I didn't even get to, like, what? And he's like, I just create an environment for them of fun. I just have fun every time people come here. He opens his closet. He shows me all these costumes he has, a clown suit, wigs, plastic noses, funny shoes, house coats, and karate outfit. And I'm like, dude, you wear those when you're shooting? He's like, every time. He's like, my clients are usually pretty uptight people. So to come here and to be able to just have pure fun, it's liberating for them. And I said, and they like that? He's like, bro, do you think that they'll remember that? I'm like, again, I said, I'll remember this for the rest of my life. And he's like, and what about the photography? Was the photography good? And I'm like, bro, you're so good. He's like, right, I'm good, but we're all good. We're all good. So I need an edge that separates me from the other photographers that are also good. I want to create my own legend. You have to create your own legend. What are you going to do to be memorable? After assisting Mir, I just realized, like, holy shit, I can do anything. I can you can create this persona. And I actually believed in it. And I talked the last episode of like how I started to dress after that and how I looked like Jean-Michel Basquiat. Like Basquiat was such a big influence for me. So I dressed like Basquiat with my dreads and like the vibe, the leather jacket and like cut off shorts and combat boots. And like my brother and I just became artists and we created this legend and we had these parties and invited people over and we showed work on the walls. And like soon after assisting Mir, I got my own studio and I started creating my own legend. So you have to understand, let's go, gaming saves lives. Thanks for upgrading. You have to know that photography, it's a solo pursuit, but it thrives on community and mentorship. And like, Mir acted as my mentor for a couple of months, you know, and those 2 months, every successful person in photography had another person in photography guide them. An emerging pro photographer, when it comes to you, your road's no different. Every pro photographer that's doing it right has 3 things. They have a mentor, a coach who they go to for guidance that can help them. Thank you so much, Gaming Save Lives. I appreciate you for gifting a membership. Thank you. I see you. Thank you so much. Every photographer that's doing it right has 3 things. They have a mentor or a coach, somebody that's ahead of them in life and in business that can pull them up to where they are. They have, second, somebody who's at that level, or many people that are at their level. They're called peers, people who you can bounce stuff off of. Ask them, hey, have you had this experience before? This is what I'm dealing with right now. That's what I've created with my Discord community, is a group of peers. And then the last thing that we need is an assistant or an apprentice, somebody who's younger or less experienced than us, that we can be passing positive knowledge and encouragement onto. Now, when you're new as a photographer, that photographer could just be watching you on your journey as you get better. And they can just be holding your reflector or changing your lenses or holding your camera bag just for them to be on set. It's super necessary. When you build your support system, and when you're part of that type of support system, you can't lose. Having a mentor, having peers, and having someone that you're passing knowledge to, your photography network can be your greatest resource during your toughest times. During your toughest times, your photography community, my Discord community, I mean, it's not mine. It's I started it, yes, but my Discord has a mind and a life of its own. Like, I have like 8 staff that help me run it, and it has almost 1,000 people, and it's so important. The thing that's amazing is you could not only find help during your toughest time, but you could provide help to another photographer when they're going through their toughest time. And that's like even more important. Thank you, Very Productions, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Thank you. So connect with a more experienced photographer so you can get help both in business and the creative aspects of your life with your photography. Build a peer network. I have an amazing peer network that you can just pluck from. It's beautiful. And photographers at all levels. Nothing worse than getting something in your throat. Like now, I need a drink. Hang on. Woo! And I can't even change cameras or do anything. Or even mute. Jeez Louise. If you're just tuning in, by the way, my stream control is down today. My buttons that I use to control, sorry for the dusty screen. See how that says connecting? It said connecting for the last hour. I couldn't connect. Still can't connect. So anyways, that is why that's why I'm not changing cameras, and there's no dancing people or old ladies or anything like that. So connect with more experienced photographers that are more experienced with you than you in both business and creative aspects. Join a peer network like my Discord. Yes. And help somebody who's less experienced than you. Like, you don't have to necessarily help them with photography, especially if you're not quite as advanced in photography to be able to help somebody who's new that way, but they could help you on set and you could help them. I mean, this could be anybody from your son or daughter to someone who's just trying to be a photographer in your area that's less experienced than you. One thing that's super important that I realized my entire career is you have to stay open to advice from a different viewpoint than your own. Sometimes it's okay to hear opinions that are different than your own. If you ask any photographer if they're open-minded, they'll say, of course I'm open-minded. I'm a photographer. But then ask them about the best camera system. Then watch how quickly they become rigid and specific about very specific things. As a photographer, we have to be open-minded to so much that the world has to offer, but we also have to have tunnel vision with so many other things. You know, like try to convince me to change to Nikon or to switch camera brands, to shoot Sony. I'd be like, you're crazy. But I'll also argue why every Sony shooter should switch to Canon. You know what I mean? You know, it's like I'll go to the mat over the Mac or PC conversation because I believe so strongly in Macs are for creative people and Macs run the creative industry. So we have to have tunnel vision on some things, but we have to be open to advice from different viewpoints, especially from people who have more experience than us. We also have to be open to critique. You have to welcome constructive criticism on your work, and it gives you insights that you miss, like straight up. And it's not just insights from me, but anybody who's more experienced than you looking at your photographs could help you. But you can't take every single thing that you hear as law, including the things that I tell you. I mean, I have 3 decades on most people. As far as my photography experience, I'm going to see things that most people, I have decades experience on most people on YouTube even. So how many people in their 50s are on YouTube talking about photography? Most people are in their 20s and they're not even making a living at photography, and they're here talking about photography. So have an open mind on camera systems and gear. What might work for you might not work for another. Also, think about collaboration with photographers and not working in opposition with them. If there's 3 photographers in your town, join forces. You could dominate if you joined forces and referred each other rather than just blocked each other and each one of you acted as an island. There's strength in numbers. You could join forces and have a referral network. The 3 of you could cover the entire area and just agree, like, okay, if someone calls me, I can't do it, I'll recommend you. You can't do it, you recommend me, and so on. So we have to always be bringing value. When I shifted my mindset to bringing value rather than making money, I made more money than I've ever made in my life. Once I started to think about how can I bring value, and I even think about that when it comes to my clients. I mean, especially not just here on YouTube, bringing you value. I think about how can I bring value to everybody who's in front of my camera? And I do that by directing them, by helping them, by positioning them so their body is the most flattering, by helping them with head angles so they don't have a double chin, with skin, with exposure, with light. There's so many things that I try to do to bring value to people who are on my sets. But we have to have adaptability. an unflinching resilience, and a willingness to learn. Those are the hallmarks to success and a lasting career in photography. You have to be open to mindset shifts without being part of the style of the month club. You know, you can't change your style like the weather. You can't change your style like the seasons. You're never going to build a loyal fan base if just when people are grabbing onto your style, you walk away from it. This journey is going to be filled with all kinds of ups and downs and incredible turns. How you navigate defines you. And know that how you navigate is actually what we call life. What you do every day. The small choices that you make today affect your future. Very much so with photography and life in general. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that, but the reason that this particular YouTube channel has grown is because of consistency and value. I try to bring value every single time that I sit in front of this microphone. We have to stay positive. I said earlier, we have to stand on possibilities that don't yet exist. How we build a photography career is by believing in ourselves and knowing that, yeah, we're going to do this. We have to have what I call horizon goals. And horizon goals are things that are in the distant future, but we're going to get there. A horizon goal could be transitioning. Oops, I'm a horrible speller today when my hands are cold. Transitioning to pro. That could be a simple goal. I want to actually make it to that I'm going from my 9 to 5 to freelance. That's my goal. I want a horizon goal could be, I want an R5. That's a horizon goal. But you have to know that you have to make money in order to get that goal. So what's your horizon goal to make the money so you can buy the things that you need in order to make more money? You know? So horizon goals are things that we need to always have. And also, we have to have a mission. What's our mission? My mission here on YouTube is to help 25,000 photographers make a living with their camera. My Dr. Scratch. I want to help 25,000 photographers make a living with their camera. That's my mission. And you can understand that once you're very welcome, DMW shots. We have to have a value mission. Something that what are you going to do that's going to change lives? What's your life-changing goal? Oops. What's your value? What value are you going to bring to the photography world? If you ask yourself what value you're going to bring, what your life-changing goal is, how you're going to affect people, you have to ask yourself these powerful questions. How will I affect people? What's my value? What am I bringing to the table? When you start asking yourself these questions, you start to realize like, hey, I'm building something that means something, you know? And to remind you, it starts with the work. And does your work look valuable? Does it bring value to a niche? What's your niche? What is your niche? Are you specialized? The work is where it all starts. That's what we stand on. We stand on the work because the work is where every photographer starts. You start with the work. You don't get to advance to level 2 unless you have high quality, specialized work that brings value to a specific niche. It's the only way. Number 2 is the packaging. The packaging is your site, your portfolio, and you. That's the part that people miss. They're all about, oh, my portfolio has to be amazing. The work has to be amazing. My site has to be amazing. It's like, yeah. But what about you? Are you amazing? Are you healthy? Are you physically, or do you emote that you care about your body, that you care about health and well-being? Because you're in the imaging business. You're in the imaging business. In the most savvy time that there's ever been. More people today know about Photoshop, Lightroom, digital photography than ever before in the history of the world. More people know about photography now than ever. In fact, everybody with one of these thinks they're a photographer. Everybody. Oh, I could be a photographer. Taking some pretty great photos. Here, Cardi, you're a photographer? Here, let me show you some of my exceptional photos. Oh, really? Okay. Everybody thinks they're a photographer. So what are you doing with your work and the value that you're bringing to your niche and your specialization? That's going to make it so you're not competing with everybody who thinks that they're a photographer, because everybody and their mother thinks that they're a photographer. Once you get into the packaging, your website, your portfolio, it's an easy way to make your work, plus the work is amazing. It's easy for you to now stack yourself way on top of everybody else. You. And I'm not saying you need to be anything other than your best you. That's it. Your best you. You don't have to be Brad Pitt. You don't have to be a supermodel, but you do have to make effort. You have to make effort. And if you don't invest in yourself, why would anybody invest in you? If you don't invest in yourself, if you don't buy a pair of shoes for yourself, new pair of pants every once in a while, new shirt, get a haircut, make sure your beard's all lined up. If you don't do that for yourself, how are you going to command rates? How are you going to get $5,000 a day? So much of our packaging is investing in ourselves. You've heard like dress to win. How many times have you been out and you've bumped into somebody really important client and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're seeing me dressed like this. Like, these kinds of things, like how people judge us head to toe the second that they see us. The second that they see us. It's involuntary. You can't help. You do it too. You judge people the second that you see them. And you put them either here or here. You put them below you or above you, is what we do. It's natural. So as a creator, as an image maker, as someone who you're asking a nation of people to invest in you, you have to take your own look and your own personal style also seriously. Take it seriously, because you're asking other people to take their image seriously. So after the packaging, and the packaging, people don't even get to this part. Packaging, website, portfolio, themselves. They don't even get here. So it becomes impossible to get to stage 3. And stage 3 is the business. It's impossible to get here to the business part because they haven't figured out any of this stuff yet. So they never make a dime with their camera, because when it comes to the business side of photography, make a corporation. That's the first thing. An LLC if you're in the US, an Inc. if you're in Canada. That's the first thing. Deal with your taxes. That's another thing. And software, invoicing software, quoting software, super simple. And also all of the expenses that your company needs to run. You need Creative Cloud, you need gear, you need like this, the business side of it. Oh my God. I started my business with $500, and it was literally like already allocated to rent. So I started my business with nothing. I had a camera, 2 lenses, and a portfolio. That's literally it. Hasselblad, 1 lens, 1 back. And then I had my 35mm with 2 lenses. I had no lights. For the first 2 years of business, I shot my first 2 years of business natural light, and I was shooting editorials for magazines, shooting models. So the business side of it is where many people get all discombobulating. Accounting. There's so many things here. But that's part 3, is you have to deal with the business side of this company and how to make money. And that's what I get into with the next one, because that's ultimately, once you're here and you realize how expensive it is. Do you realize how expensive it is? Understand, photography is the world's most expensive hobby. It's the world's most expensive hobby. But once you turn it into a business, it can be so lucrative. But you have to be set up right. I was never set up right before, but I learned how to get set up. Now I'm set up properly. And funny enough, I learned how to get set up, not by looking at photographers' businesses, but by looking, well, that, yes, but I looked at businesses, other businesses that were not photography related, but were service related, that I could adopt some of their systems on with what I'm doing. Once I did that, things started to really fly. So that's stage 3, the business side of it. So up here, you can see, starts with the work. Specialized work that brings value to a specific niche. Then you move on to the packaging. Your site, your portfolio, and you. And then 3 is the business side of it. Making an LLC, dealing with software, accounting, your monthly expenses, and trying to start. There's so much more to the business side, but I can only skim over this. And number 4 is the systems. Systems for everything. I create systems for everything. Systems for making money. I have systems for making money with your camera. Super easy. I mean, I've been working on this for 33 years, and the systems for making money with my camera, I'm still using offshoots of systems that I invented 33 years ago that are just proven. They just work. So systems for making money, systems for shooting, systems for and funny enough, I have a system for shooting, which actually maximizes how much money I make after the fact. Here's an example. I'll do a photo shoot that is $500, and for $500, they get 2 finals, but they'll order 20 finals, and they pay $50 per final after the fact. So we'll do a photo shoot for $500, and then they'll pay me $1,500 after the fact. $500 after the fact. $1,000 after the fact. So their $500 ends up being, and they happily pay because the value that I'm giving them is greater than the money that they're spending. It's not like I'm ripping people off. It's just I shoot in such a way that makes it impossible for you to only get 2 photos. I don't shoot the minimal amount. I overshoot and over-deliver everything. And because I do that, I have an ongoing sustainable business model. So there's also systems for how you shoot. And then there's systems for post. There's systems for invoicing. There's systems for quoting. There's systems for everything. You make a system for everything, and I'm inventing new systems every day. Systems make money. The reason that you go to Starbucks and it's the same caramel latte as when you go here in Toronto, as when you go in California, and when you go to New York, if you order the same thing, you'll get the exact same thing in every place because they have systems for making every single drink. Same with McDonald's. Multi-billion-dollar companies have systems for every single thing. So as a photographer, there's systems that we can incorporate that actually maximize our time, maximize our efficiency, and actually maximize the money that we make. So I'm constantly developing systems for photographers to make money. It's all stuff that you learn in my masterclass. And then number 5 is outward reach. Once you learn everything above, outward reach becomes so easy. But the problem is people do this part without having any of the skills of all of this stuff. They don't know all of this stuff, but yet now they're going straight to outward reach and they're getting stonewalled. First of all, there's a system for how to outward reach. There's a reason why to outward reach, and there's a call to action with outward reaches that all equal money. Outward reach is how you make money. We have to do 2 things. We have to do passive, which is our website and socials, and we have to do active. And active is calls and emails, and also newsletters. Newsletters is the best because it's a bridge between passive and active selling. It's genius. It's genius. If you don't have a mailing list, is the most powerful thing a photographer has, a mailing list. So as a photographer, I started this whole speech by saying we have to stand on something that's not yet there, like literally, but there is a way to get there. There is a way to get to being a full-time photographer. The problem is you might be limited. You might have limited time. And the limited time comes because you have a 9-to-5 job, which means your days are spent helping other people's goals get reached rather than helping your own goals get reached. The exchange for that is they give you a very little amount of money, just enough amount of money for you to make it by, which is why you're trying to find something else, which is why many people start photography as a side hustle, as something to do to supplement the lack of money that they're making from their 9 to 5. I do understand that. The hard part is the time, and how once you're done your 8 hours per day, and you have maybe a family, you have kids, like it ends up being like there's very little time left for you to dedicate to doing all of these things that you actually have to do. There's very little time left to dedicate to it. So because of that, it becomes a lot harder to start. And I try to help people do that. The hard thing, I mean, for me, it's like, what are your options? I would say quit your job immediately because jobs are never end. They're not going anywhere. They're literally like, you can get another one tomorrow. But also, people like security. They like security. Security makes them feel good because they have but it's a false security. The reason that it's a false security is because this isn't your show when you're working for someone else. So that other person has the ability to fire you. They have the ability to lay you off. They have the ability to eliminate your job. And if you're 10 years in on that job, 15 years in on that job, and your job got eliminated, well, that's not very secure at all, right? Because now there's no backup plan. There's no side hustle. There's no other way to make money. And you haven't learned the skills to do that yet because you haven't had time because you've been working 9 to 5. So essentially 9 to 5s they're soul crushing and dream ending. And when you go to school, like school up to high school teaches you how to be an employee, but people who have more money pay into systems so they can go to university. And what university teaches you how to do is it teaches you how to be an employee at the management level. Congratulations, you're a manager. You just paid $150,000 or $200,000 to learn how to be a manager, which is managing people for other people. It's like, I've said the last episode, I said there's only 3 jobs: slave, soldier, or business owner. Those are the only 3 jobs. So if you're working for someone else, you're a slave. If you're in the military, you're a soldier, or you're a business owner. Those are the only 3 jobs. So school doesn't set up the universe for business owners. School sets up the universe for employees, and they keep the business owner vibe to the elite. But as a photographer, as a content creator, you actually could be a business owner faster than you can say shake. And if your nut or how much you have to make per month is, let's say, $3,000, say $3,000 a month. Content creator or a photographer or a videographer or a director can make $3,000 I make $3,000 in 4 hours. 4 hours. And literally, it's usually more in that amount of time. So the amount of money that you make in a month, I make in an afternoon. So the concept of having a job is just like, it's the silliest thing for me. It actually is. Because here's another thing. And I mean, I'm not really trying to get you to quit your job and lose your house and all that shit. That's not really what I'm trying to say. And you don't make those decisions without making the prior decisions to map out the plan to actually do that. But just to give you a perspective, just imagine how hard you work for your employer. Imagine how hard you work for your employer. Now imagine how hard you'd work for yourself if you knew that you got to keep all the money that you made and didn't have to like break it off to anybody. It's just yours. Meaning you do a job for $3,000, you get $3,000, you know? So, and also if you realize like you can make $3,000 very easily, you can do 10 shoots at $300, or you could do 1 shoot at $3,000. And if you're working for yourself and you have skill, talent, and a niche that you bring value to, Well, those people have money, and it's super easy to get one shoot per month that would pay you $3,000, or 3 shoots that pay you $1,000 each. And guess what? If you had 9 to 5 free to focus on getting that work and focus on finding those clients, because guess what? Those clients also work 9 to 5. So when you're at your 9 to 5 doing something else, it's the same time that those people who have the potential to hire you are working. You're after 5 o'clock hustle and on weekends that you do photography, there's no clients that time that are hiring photographers. So the only thing that you can do is passively market to them through your social media and your website, which is what you do, which doesn't work. Everybody who's ever been my assistant, rule number 1, quit your job. Quit your job. Because you can't have a job if you're my assistant. Number 2 is, I'm going to teach you the first day. I'm going to teach you systems how to make money. And I'm going to give you my studio. I'm going to give you all my gear, my lights, access to all my resources, anything that you need, plus me. And I'm going to help you every second of the way. And guaranteed, I'm also going to pay you every time I have a paid job. You make money there. And I do paid jobs where I need assistance all the time. Guess what? I pay $350 each time. $350 each time you assist me. When you're at Jason's level, you get $350. When you're new, let's say you get $250. So at $250, if you assist me 10 times in a month, that's $2,500. If you assist me plus do a couple of your own jobs every month, guess what? You're making the same amount of rent. You're making the same amount of money as you were working 9 to 5. That's just assisting one photographer. Compound the amount of photographers that you're assisting, not just me, but assist multiple people, more than just one. Plus, create valuable work that brings people value with a specific niche that's specialized, and you work. Corey did it. Wade did it at 19 years old. Wade made his first dollar when he was 19, just like I did. Never had a job. I've never had a job. Literally, I haven't had a job since I think my last job was a camera store. I worked in a camera store when I was 19. That was my last job. And I quit the camera store, got a studio, and never had another job again. So you have to believe in possibilities that don't yet exist. It's how every bird in the sky learned how to fly. They all learned how to fly because they were all kicked out of the nest after 1 week, and they figured it out as they were falling to their death. Photographers, we're confident in so many things and so not confident in so many other things. You know, it's like we've forgotten how to be sharks. We've forgotten how to be hunters. We were hunter-gatherers. We would go out and hunt and bring back food for the people that we cared about. We still do that. We just do it differently. Our hunting is sitting at a desk and pushing numbers and doing shit for someone else, and they write us a paycheck minus a whole bunch of deductions. Okay. Again, today's episode, we're just about to wrap up, but today's episode is all about standing on something that you don't have there yet. Believing that you'll have all the equipment that you could possibly need, all the lights that you could possibly need, and all the clients that you could possibly need. But you have to do the steps. You have to create the work, specialized work that brings value to a specific niche. If you have that, do you understand how easy it is to do outward reach to that niche? When you have specialized work that brings value focused on a specific niche, do you understand how easy it is to sell that? In fact, you don't even have to sell it. All you need to do is tell people that you do it. Hey, guess what? You have a restaurant? Guess what? I'm pretty much the best food photographer in the area. You just got to show them and tell them what the result will be for using you. It's super, super easy. I mean, it's incredibly hard, but it's really easy when you break it down like this. This way that I broke it down, and by the way, number 6, the last part, number 6 is putting it all together. Putting it all together, reading the market, is what number 6 is. If you get this far, you can put it all together. You can put it all together. It's what I try to teach. It's what I try to teach. And people have pain points. People get stuck. The places that they get stuck is time. They don't have the time. They have a 9 to 5. They don't have the time. And imagine you not having the time means that here's the situation. You don't have a 9 to 5 job, and every day, Monday to Friday, including Saturday, Sunday, you can work on your photography every day. Imagine that. How much faster would you progress than the person who has a 9 to 5 job and is only able to shoot on the weekends? That means they get 2, 4, 6, 8 days per month to shoot photos, and you get 31. Who's going to be better, faster, right? And also, same thing. You have 31 days to learn how to make money with your camera, learn how to find clients, learn how to hunt. Believe me, if you're starving and the difference between you paying your rent and getting kicked out, or you learning how to find clients and bring value to them, believe me, if the stakes are that high, you figure it out. That's how I created stakes that high for myself. Quit my job, moved out of the house, sold my 4x5 camera to make the money to pay the deposit for rent. I had my portfolio, my camera. Like, that's it. And the only other option was to move back home with my mom, which I never had to do, ever. So when you invest in yourself and believe in yourself, the universe provides. As tacky as that sounds, it's absolutely true. We have all the skills to have all the riches that all the world has ever seen. We have the skills, and we have the talent, and we have the tools. But knowing that you have the talent, you have the skills, you have the tools, it doesn't mean that it's done for you. That's part of the thing, is you have to do the work. Everything that I just showed you here, and I map it out so easily, so quick, it's like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and it equals this. This is literally if this, then that. I have an app. It's called If This, Then That, meaning if I post a picture to Instagram, then also upload a native photo to Twitter. Also upload a native photo to Facebook. If this happens, then that happens. This Cardi method that I've developed, it works. It's literally, it's if this, then that. If you do this, then that happens. If you package yourself like this, then this happens. If you care about yourself, your own personal image, what you look like a little bit, then this will happen. If you invest in outward reach and you outward reach this way, then this happens. And if you put it all together, a career happens. I believe in it. I'm putting my name behind it. And that's why I started the masterclass. This is why I have one-on-one mentorship. And this is why courses are the way forward. Take a course. Like Ali Abdaal invented the part-time YouTuber Academy because he was a doctor. And while he was in medical school, he's like, hey, I'm going to make some videos because I'm really good at studying. I'm going to make some videos to help people, to bring value, to help people learn how to study because I'm pretty good at it. And then he passed the medical exam. So he made a couple of videos on like how to pass the medical exam because he did it. So then he's like, okay, so now I'm a doctor. So now I'm going to start I'm managing a YouTube channel and being a doctor. So now I'm going to start making some videos on productivity and how I managed to do so many different things. And then those fly. And then in his third year of business, he was making like 4 times more money being a YouTuber than he was a Cambridge trained medical doctor in Britain, in England. So he decided to be like, well, what? And that's just him doing it halfway. That was him just doing it halfway. What if he did it the whole way? He did it the whole way, and he made $5.9 million last year from his 12 income streams. 12 income streams. Like, once he stopped being a doctor, he had the time to dedicate to actually really building out systems, bringing on people who could help him build the systems out faster, better, bigger, stronger. And if you build it, they'll come. He built it and they came. So your photography career is no different. Your photography career is no different. Imagine this. You quit your job. Do you think you quitting your job is going to be like this? You sitting every day like this? What do I do? Well, the first 3 days will be like that. But then you'll be like, oh my God, what would I do? What would you do if money was no object? Here's a question for you. If you had all the money in the world, would you still make photographs? What kind of photographs would you make? And who would you make them for? Would you make them just for you? Or would you want to make them for other people? If money was no object, would you still be a photographer? If the answer is yes, then why are you not doing it? You know, because the money part, it's, if you bring value, value equals money in every situation, always. It's why you take money out of your wallet. It's because the thing that you want is worth more than the money it costs to get it. So people feel like that. If you create photographs, I create photographs that are worth more than the money that I charge for them. So people pay money to have the, and not just that, they pay for the experience to have with me and the photographs. They're paying for the experience and the photographs. So there's a method to the madness. But the first thing is you have to believe in possibilities that don't exist. You're not a photographer today. You're not making money with your camera today. But you have to just not hope, I really hope, or even believe. You have to know. You have to know that you're going to do this. You have to know. And once you go from belief to knowing that this is going to happen, and you don't get to complete knowing that you're going to do this until you put all these systems together and you realize, I have something. I'm bringing value. It's to a specific niche, and oh my God, there's a niche here that needs it. Like, once you're on that vibe, you're ready to go. The only problem is that people undervalue themselves and they undervalue their rates. So then they start charging $150. Oh my God. If I'm spending $300 on running shoes, your photography is worth more than a pair of running shoes. Do you understand that? It's worth more than a pair of Jordans, your photography. Like, you're saving time. So you have to value yourself. If you don't value yourself and price yourself, you should be pricing yourself at the point that's just a little bit uncomfortable. You should feel a little bit uncomfortable, like, whew, I'm asking $500 for me to do this session. I would have done it for $50. Perfect. Because you'll realize you'll get it. And then you'll realize, wow, other people value me more than I value myself. I sent out a $53,000 quote in August. And I didn't send like, I hope it's okay. It seems like, hi. I just was like, here you go. 53K. That's how much it is. And I went back to my job. I went back to do what I was doing. And the client came back like, this is the most money we've ever paid for a photographer before. But we know that we're getting $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 in value in paying you $50,000. So let's do it, was the reply. Guess what? If I groveled and was like, oh my God, I hope it's okay, then they would have been like, make it lower, make it lower, make it lower, make it lower. They would have nickel and dimed me and lowballed me until I was shooting for 30K, you know? But homie doesn't play that. I believe in myself and I believe in the value that I bring. So I can slide a $50,000 quote and be like, yeah, deal with it. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be over here. And they talked amongst themselves and they were like, yeah, it's worth it. Let's do it. So, and last year was $27,300. Also, the most money they've ever spent for a photo shoot before in their life. Guess what? This year, they spent twice that. So that's the power of negotiating. This is why I make these videos on negotiating that nobody watches. It's so funny. I have 2 videos out. One is 3 magic words will change the way that you negotiate. And another one is 7 tips to seal every deal. And it's like, I make these videos and they're not glamorous. It's not glamorous to learn how to seal the deal. But when you're in that situation and you're in negotiations and you're having a hard time, people aren't closing, that's why I make those videos. It's to actually help you make money. But again, it's there. One of them's got not even 1,000 views. I did it last week. The one I dropped yesterday or dropped on Friday already has 1,000 views. So that one's getting traction. Again, I try to make the best videos possible. I try to learn what you guys like and I go from there. I'm here to take 3 questions. If you guys have any questions for me. If not, I'm going to wrap up. Unfortunately, again, today, I'm going to have to spend the rest of my afternoon trying to figure out how to get my stream control back up. I already have notes out to tech support. I don't know how to get it back up. I spent an entire hour working on it. I'm dealing with like no connectivity here with my very dirty screen here. See how it says connecting? Trying to connect. Because of that, I have no buttons, which makes everything very difficult. So I'm working with both digital and film cameras. Do I have any advice for thoughts on building a career based on film photography? Yeah, don't do it. That's my advice. Ray Hal, don't do it. It's silly and it's a novelty right now. You shoot film for your personal work, but for commercial work, no, bro. No. Clients want tethered. Clients want 4K monitors. Clients want click, image, click, image, click, image. They're like, perfect, flag that one, put that one up against that one. Okay, cool. Adjust the color on that one, crop it in a bit. Okay, that's our cover. Dude, film, I just said adaptability. I just said, like, after 30 years, like literally from age 14 to 34 shooting film, I have a Hasselblad Anniversary Edition 500 cm Classic, like a $10,000 trophy. Welcome. Hasselblad was my main camera. Bro, it's in the closet. I don't pick it up. Why? Because commercial clients, it costs money every time you shoot. Like, spend that money to get the computer and the system and the laptop and the tethering and the tech that you need for 2024. It's not 1985. Film is novelty, but is not what people are using to make money. It's art and commerce. It's too much money, too many steps, and the quality is here. So if someone wants a film look, they'll just put a film look on top of digital. But it's definitely, they won't hire you that way. I promise you. I mean, again, you can do as you do, as people do, but this is just my advice. Dude, don't. I have a Hasselblad. It's in the closet. I could be shooting Hasselblad for my clients. I could be scanning. But again, I would just do it to like shoot your whole editorial digital, put 1-2 film frames. But again, it's like, even still, it's just novelty. It's just novelty, bro. It's just novelty. It's literally like black and white. I mean, black and white is beautiful, but you can't hang a business on black and white photography because clients need their products in color. That's why you don't see black and white images of the iPhone, because it's a full color device. The world is in full color. We have 4K. We're about to go to 8K. The world is in ultra high resolution. So black and white. Riz, you got to go back to the beginning of the episode, my guy. Watch any one of my masterclass videos as well. I'll talk about it. And also, the Cardi method is my masterclass, where if you join my masterclass, I get very deep into the 6 steps. The 6 steps are the work, the packaging, the business, the systems, outward reach, and putting it all together. That's how it goes. So guys, I've been trying to be a content machine lately. I try to put out a video every week. I do photo reviews every week. I do 3 podcasts a week. If you found this helpful today, do hit the like button. Again, I apologize that although you were able to control my stream, I was not able to control anything. I write about the mindset of the professional photographer every Saturday. I send it out to people just like you. The blog is called A Life Behind the Camera. You can find links for that in the description here. Also, my masterclass, my next masterclass, by the way, because I want to be doing my masterclasses the first weekend of the month. So your month is set. You know everything that you're supposed to be doing that month, rather than doing it. January's masterclass was last weekend, and I did it that way because I needed to build the systems to do it first. So the first one took a little bit of time, but we've switched over to Zoom, changed a couple of systems, so it's going to be much smoother. So there is going to be a masterclass this weekend. So if you're not signed up for the masterclass, by the way, if you do sign up, you get to see the last masterclass as well. You can watch the video of the last masterclass, see all the notes and all the giveaways. I have like $300 of free downloads hidden in my posts from my masterclass, like the ultimate photographer's freelance dashboard, which I've developed with a designer, with a developer. Yeah, it's pretty sick. It basically, you can run your whole business with Notion and this one document. So it's pretty sick. So don't forget to watch some of my latest content, watch some of my videos. Riz, I did a couple of master classes, one called that I have here on YouTube, one called If I Was to Start Again as a Working Pro in 2024, This Is What I Do. I mapped through my 6 systems in that one. And yeah, that's it. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm going to try to fix my system now. Thank you. I hope today brought you some value. No end screen, nothing except for me disappearing right now. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you for watching.